Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and today we are doing 13 different two-seater sports cars. They also only have two doors, obviously, but two-door sports cars for under $10,000. This is part of a multi-part series we got going on. I'll put a picture up right now to explain it all for you. But unfortunately, there won't be one under $5K because there's just not enough two-seater sports cars that are under $10,000 to be able to do two different lists for it. So I just threw them all into one list, which is why you're getting 13 today. Also, guys, in case my voice sounds a little different, or I'm talking slower, or I'm not as enthusiastic, yay! It's because your boy is sick. I have the COVID. I know. So put on a mask right now. I put a mask over my GoPro here so that you guys won't get sick, but you never know. You might get a little worse. Anyway, guys, if you guys want to support the channel any more than you already are, head on over to www.smoothstance.com/shop to pick yourself up any hats, shirts, or shorts. And don't get COVID. Stay away from people with COVID, and let's get right into the video. Alrighty, so starting off the list, number 13, it is the Honda Del Sol. It comes with a 1.6 liter inline 4 that makes 106 horsepower, and it was front wheel drive, and this is easily the least powerful car on this list, which is why it is getting the last place spot. But don't let that fool you, buddy. Do not let that take you for a fool, because it may be weak in horsepower, but it also barely weighs anything, making it a great choice for some spirited driving. It's like a Miata, you know, it's like a front-wheel drive Miata. Sure, you're not going to win any freaking highway rollers against Hellcats with this car, but you take it to the canyons, and you'll be cruising. Those Hellcat owners won't know what to do. Now, to me, the headlights on these cars look like a freaking spider, and I don't like that because I don't like spiders, but sometimes the looks, like when people start to make them a little bit, you know, stanced on the ground with some wide body and some nice looking stuff, you know, hey, it looks pretty good. Number 12 is the Datsun 280Z. It comes with a 2.8 liter inline 6 that makes 135 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive. And they look freaking awesome to me, but to be honest, if the looks aren't there for you, if you don't think it's that good of a car, then the car honestly holds no purpose. At its time, yes, it was a legendary sports car, but times have changed. These cars have been outclassed by so many different cars now. And yes, you actually can find these cars under $10,000. I was surprised as you are. I was as surprised as you are right now. It was weird. I was like looking up two-door sports cars, and I was like, is that really a 280Z? And it was running and driving 280Z for under 10K. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll put that in there. And yes, they look awesome. They're JDM legends. If you like them, then they are probably like one of your favorites on this list. But if you have no interest in like the JDM cars, the old JDM legends, then it honestly makes no point. Number 11 is the Toyota MR2 Spyder, or the newest generation MR2. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. But it comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4 that makes 138 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive. And they look just freaking god awful in my opinion. Like, I don't know what Toyota was thinking when they made this. Like, it was supposed to follow up the legendary MR2 before it, but it just wasn't good. Like, it just didn't look good. It didn't have that much, you know, on top of like looking like it was freaking dropped on its head, it just didn't have like that much performance over the last generation either. It had 3 more horsepower and weighed a lot more, which is just sad. They could have like made the MR2 line so legendary, but they just stopped. I mean, sure, some people have had some fun with these cars and they made them look really good and they love them, and you can too, but I don't know. It just isn't like a great MR2 to me. But hey, if you like the body style, then it's still an MR2. Number 10 is the Pontiac Solstice. Say what? This car? Yes, this car. It comes with a 2 liter inline 4 that makes 173 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive as well. And we are surprisingly starting to see like an uproar of these cars as drift cars. And I find that hilarious. Like, they look like the type of car old man Jenkins would take to bingo and then like complain about how the teenager working the drive-thru took too long. But no, they're not. It's like a little 18-year-old Tommy with a death wish is swinging it around corners in these cars while the freaking tie rod is broken. It's weird. You wouldn't expect it. You would expect just like the people that own these cars to be like old dudes, and so when you see them drifting, you're just like, is that a freaking Pontiac Solstice? But it works. It just works really well. If you want a drift car that is extremely underrated, here you go. She ain't a bad choice, except for personally, I don't like the looks of them, but she ain't a bad choice. Number 9 is the Mazda Miata NA, which comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4 that makes 135 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive, and they are freaking pretty much weightless. They're like a feather. They're super lightweight. They have a huge cult following for them right now, which makes me happy, to be honest, because they used to be made fun of all the time. Like, people used to freaking hate Miata owners. They called them hairdressers. They called them poop lickers. They called them Mark Roden's left butt cheek looking like people. Now though, they are getting respect and people are turning them into freaking monsters, and I love that. It's so cool to see these underrated little boring quote unquote cars being freaking driven hard. They also handle extremely well, arguably the best on this list when it comes to its power potential. It really utilizes that power. So yes, it may be small, but it's got some freaking legs on it, man. Number 8 is the Toyota MR2 SW20. Out of nowhere, my sore throat just like kind of went away there. That's why it sounded like I just yelled at you. But it comes with a 2-liter inline 4 that makes 135 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive. And once again, mid-engine, just like the other MR2. And this car is exactly what I meant before by saying that the newest MR2 just isn't worth it in my opinion. Unless you're blind, this one looks 10 times better. It has almost the exact same amount of horsepower. It only has 3 less horsepower, and it weighs less. So that 3 less horsepower that it does have doesn't matter. It still pretty much has, if anything, more power to it. The only downside to picking this one over the newer one is the snap oversteer is much worse in this one, making it a lot harder for a new driver to control. But if you can teach yourself, if you can be patient, if you can learn, then you got yourself a beautiful Canyon Carver. They handle really well once you can control that snap oversteer. Number 7 is the Pontiac Fiero GT. Yes, that's right, this freaking underrated legend. It comes with a 2.8 liter V6 that makes 140 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive, and once again, mid-engine. Yes, that's right, baby. Listen, I know this car is super underrated, and you might not even know that it exists, to be honest, but it does, and they are sick. Think of like an MR2, but make it American and built in the 80s, and that's what you got here. Like, it is just a freaking weird looking car, but it's awesome at the same time. It looks like an American Ferrari, but like if the American Ferrari smoked Newports. Like, and the snap oversteer in a Pontiac Fiero GT, don't get me wrong, is just as deadly as the MR2. It also has freaking pop-up headlights and a V6 in the back that will cause you to spin out like you hit a banana in Mario Kart, but who cares? Just look at the thing. It is wonderful. Like, I don't want to say beautiful because it isn't, but it's just wonderful. It's a weird, like, different car, and I kind of like them. I kind of want one. Number 6 is the Chevy Corvette C4, which comes with a 5.7 liter V8 that makes 300 horsepower, which is very high for this list, and it was rear wheel drive. And yes, that number is much higher than anything we've talked about so far, but that's because it is a freaking Corvette. They are always like top of the line when they come out. They're always going to have high horsepower, and for the 90s, 300 horsepower was insane. Anyways, the car has everything that you could expect in a 90s American sports car. It's got sharp edges that look like freaking somebody just taking an axe to it and built it that way. It's got terrible handling and a big rumbling V8 that can beat anything on the highway if you just put a bit of elbow grease into it. The only reason that I didn't put it any higher on this list is because personally, I freaking hate the looks of them. I think they are the ugliest Corvette to ever come out, but if you like the looks of them, they are an amazing driver's car. 300 horsepower, super fast in a straight line. Try taking it around corners and you might see God. Number 5 is the Nissan 300ZX, Z32 by the way, but it comes with a 3-liter V6 that makes 222 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive, and they look like just such a beautiful machine. Like, JDM cars from the 90s are something that dreams are made of, and this is no exception. They had such a good styling. Their styling was so amazing that Lamborghini decided to take their headlights design and put it on their famous Diablos that everybody loves. The headlights on the Diablos are the same design as the headlights in the 300ZX. That's crazy. The freaking 300ZX isn't like an insanely fast sports car that's going to blow your doors off. It doesn't have the most freaking tuning potential. It doesn't have the best handling out there, but it's just an all-around, well-rounded sports car that looks good doing anything that you want it to. Number 4 is the Porsche Boxster, the first generation Boxster, which it pains me to put it this high, but listen, it comes with a 3.2 liter H6 that makes 250 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive. And they looked just god awful to me. Like the ugliest car on this list so far is actually, just in general, is this Porsche Boxster, in my opinion. I think they are the ugliest Porsche to ever grace the earth, and I also hate convertibles too, so that doesn't help it at all. But they are a good car when it comes to performance, and I can't be biased. Plus, I know some people out there only care about material things and they just want to like flex that they own a Porsche to unsuspecting citizens. But to be honest, man, I personally would rather talk to somebody that owns a Prius than owns one of these cars, because you picked the worst kind of Porsche. But I put them in fourth for a reason. They are a Porsche. They have some insane build quality to it. They're very fast for this list. They're very good at handling. They're very luxurious. They are worth your 10K. I just don't like the looks of them. Third place is the BMW Z3, which comes with a 3-liter inline-6 that makes 225 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive and looked so cool to me. I don't know why, but people think that this car looks like a clown shoe. I love them. Okay, but even if you don't like the looks of them, they are a very good deal right now. They are super lightweight, super like low to the ground and like slick, and just have such a like a cool profile to them. And they can drift really well while having some insane tuning potential that can only be found in these wonderful gems that the world calls BMWs. I freaking love them. I think it shared the same engine found in the 330 Ci of the time, and if so, that is a good engine for making some power. Just putting it out there, like the 330 Ci E46, good choice for a good car. Anyway though, the Z3 is one of your best bets for drifting right now. They're freaking dirt cheap. They have a good tunable engine. They're lightweight, they're small, and they have such good looks. Second place is the Nissan 350Z. Of course, you knew it was going to come. It comes with a 3.5 liter V6 that makes 306 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive, and the looks alone are enough to put this car in the number 2 spot. But I own a 350Z, in case you don't know, and I absolutely love it besides just the looks. Obviously, yes, I think it looks amazing, one of the best cars to ever come out. But people come up to me and they think I'm freaking like rich because of the car, which is hilarious. So if you like don't know anything about cars, a 350Z to them is like a 370Z, which is weird, but it has very good tuning potential. It can drift extremely easily and has plenty of space on the inside for storage, which is honestly kind of surprising. They are also very good track cars if you would rather go that route, but let me tell you, freaking drifting in a 350Z is what they were made for. They came with a freaking LSD from factory, so slide that thing into your crush's DMs. Also, the aftermarket support is endless and the community is massive for it too. You'll never get bored with a 350Z. But first place is none other than the Chevy Corvette C5. If you're a fan of this channel, you already knew that was coming. I love these cars. They come with a 5.7 liter V8 that makes 350 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive, and they look great. They look amazing. I think the C5 Corvette is one of the best. If not, the C7 is the only Corvette that I like better than the C5. But not only do they look like a beauty, they perform like one too. You get 350 horsepower, which, remember, by the way, Ford Focus RSs, they make that much horsepower, but they're all-wheel drive, they're a hatchback, and they're $30,000. Okay, so not only do you get the 350 horsepower, you get beautiful looks and rear-wheel drive, but you also get a freaking LS. So if you get bored of the 350 horsepower, you can easily make more if you're like insane. And they are starting to turn into drift cars now too, which is really cool to see. So honestly, the possibilities with a C5 Corvette are endless. They just don't really like take corners the best. So if you want to do some like canyon carving, maybe stick with a Miata. But besides that, man, if you want just a very good sports car for under $10,000 that looks amazing, performs amazing, and has insane potential, Chevy Corvette C5 is your best bet. But that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, don't worry. During my COVID freaking debacle here, I will be uploading every day. It ain't gonna stop me, baby. You think COVID's gonna stop me? Oh, you must be silly, boy. We're at 10.9K. You think I'm gonna stop at 10.9K? No, we want to be the best in the world. All right? We ain't gonna stop because of some COVID. Oh, I'm COVID. I make you feel like you're about to die. Shut up, man. You're like, I ain't gonna. I'm like, what? Come on now. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any cars that I missed, and let me know another video that you guys want to see. Das Vidania. Have a nice night.